something I really did want to touch upon, but I didn't know how comfortable you're feeling about talking about it. And
Mm,
you hinted about like mental health and like it impacting your personal life, not just your work, but your personal life. And
mm.
I'm someone who is a mental health advocate. I go therapy and I deal with like really bad anxiety and panic attacks and stuff. Um, would you, if it's okay with you, or if you feel comfortable enough, do you want to touch upon that a little bit?
Yes, so recently I was diagnosed with a BPD, which is a borderline personality disorder. And obviously I've hinted at this before, but it comes from childhood. So as a child, you face trauma through abuse. And then through childhood, I was living in fear. Through teenagehood, I was angry. And then through adulthood, I was depressed. But I always kept the trauma to myself. And obviously, when you're hiding things, but you're not showing your personality starts to change constantly.
Yeah.
And that's how BPD is formed. And relationships with someone with BPD, friendships can be quite draining and exhausting because, like I said, like for most people, with humans, we're only meant to experience an emotion and have that emotion. So sadness, we have it, we embrace it. Happiness, we have it, we embrace it. With BPD, you don't get to savor the emotion. You just constantly switch and change, switch and change, switch and change, switch and change. And that's called turmoil. So when something big happens to you, so recently, obviously, I don't know if she will hear this, but obviously a breakup and whatever, that was a lot of my fault. Like the breakup sent me into turmoil. I became suicidal, and yeah, so it was just about trying to find my way to overcome that. And I feel like I'm on the right path. I have a lot of things that I need to amend for in the past, but if I continue the way I am now, then hopefully I can amend them. And now I know why things happen. Like I said, it would never be a reason. There's no excuse. But now I know why things happen. Hopefully I can avoid it ever happening again.
Did you find use your creativity as in your writing and your stories as a form of outlet, or is it just an expression of what type of emotions you're feeling?
Well,
Did you use your art to fuel you, or was it just like a punching bag? Like, how did you express this in your
well,
creativity?
that's where Beauty of the Breakdown comes in because at first I made it a slice of life and then I made it a superhero. So I've recently changed it within the last couple months.
Okay.
And the hero himself, the main character, he has BPD, and that's
Okay.
for him to have go through emotional turmoil is how his negative emotions affect people around him. And then there's even like even what we were saying earlier, even with in Beauty and the Breakdown, there's another superhero. So it's superheroes from different countries, and one of them's from America. And because he's like the Superman, but he's from America, so he has all this talk teach about freedom, and he can be what he wants. Whereas the main character is the one with BPD, lives in the UK, and he doesn't have that taught of being freedom or express yourself. He hasn't been taught that.
That is
Okay.
such a good concept.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
it is because
Seriously, that's a great
that even
concept.
touches on it. That even touches up on 'cause I remember earlier towards the beginning. I remember asking you if you projected any real life things into the character, but obviously you just now mentioned how your main character has um, BPD, which is something that obviously comes from you, like you've described. I was going to ask, like, so even though you've already more or less touched upon it, like, what other things, like, from that, let's say interests or anything in real life, have you projected into the show? Because because I saw part of like the abilities they do horoscopes and Virgo powers and these things. So like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is that something that you're also like heavily into, like reading into horoscopes and that you've put into the show? And what other things like that you're also interested? Have you?
Um, so, oh boy, how can I say this without spoiling a lot of things? It's like because I haven't explained the power system in Shade of Red, but
Okay.
it's like powers depend on a lot of things. So you can get a array of powers. It's like devil fruits. Like
Mm.
it depends on the person. Where there's inherited, blessed, and your own power. So basically, it's like that. So I'm getting into spoiler territory, and I can't really say, but you will see as the story goes along, as more characters get introduced, you will see how their heritage or the person themselves has these certain type of powers.
Okay.
with the BPD and all the things you're going through, what did you do to personally? Because I feel like this is kind of might be helpful for others in this situation. What things did you do? What changes did you make? Did you seek like how even seeking help? How were you able to? Not saying it's completely overcome, but how were you able to deal with it head on?
So a lot of things. So I took a break from the manga, and I started making music with my friends. We actually have an EP coming out next week, Friday. It's called
Plug it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll plug it. I'll show. I can show you a little preview after if you're on
Yeah,
it. But a lot of it, the whole EP is just like there's a lot of like drill music and all that in there where I was able to express my anger at some of the things that happened. But then there was a lot of soft songs on there where I also got to express how I'm feeling on there. And yeah, so it's called Demons to Blessings because the whole EP at the beginning is like drill anger, and then at the end I realized that my friends were basically my blessing because spending time around them really helped. The second thing was obviously starting therapy, so I've started that now to try and improve my behaviors. And the third thing is taking accountability for, because like it's very easy to say, oh, this happened because of mental health, but at the end of the day, most people, or we do have a choice, if you know what I mean. And sometimes the choices that you like, you have to understand the choices that you make are not always going to be right, and you need to take accountability for the ones that weren't. You could say, yeah, it happened because of the BPD, but at the end of the day, it happened. Take accountability for it, accept it, and then forgive yourself. And then if people don't forgive you, that's fine because you've forgiven yourself, and just try to build steps to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes.
I think that's quite similar to my process. Is that for me, it was my friends who were able to help me, and seeing them and going to them and being able to confide with them, and also going therapy. But it's also me saying that I'm in control of this. Like this is part of the things that are happening because of what's kind of my fault, and I needed to take accountability for that. So
Yeah,
I
and
kind of sense.
obviously, if you've hurt people around you, is not it's never too late to apologize. You know what I'm saying? You can, and you can't apologize to people except hoping that they're just going to accept it. You have to apologize just out of being genuine and have to accept the fact that they might not accept it, but at least you've done it. And actions speak louder than words. Don't apologize and then go back and do the same actions. Apologize, but make sure you're building steps to make sure you are changing.
I
And
got
one last thing, for anyone that is struggling, I can tell you it does get better once you find the right people, or people that accept you for you. I promise you, it does. You spoke. If you guys even spoke to me a month ago, I didn't see a way of it getting better, and I feel like no one would understand. But I promise you, it does. So if you're reading this and you're struggling, I promise you, it will get better.